Hi, this is Mallikarjun, lecturer in mechanical engineering. And the subject I am going to discuss in this video is engineering materials, subject code 18M305C, and we are in the fifth unit of this subject. And the topic is heat treatment. Under heat treatment, now I am going to discuss about OS tempering. In the previous units, sorry, in the previous videos, we have discussed about the various heat treatment processes and the purpose of heat treatment process and the types of heat treatment processes. And then we discussed about tempering. Tempering and its three different types of temperings. One is low temperature tempering and the other one is medium temperature tempering, and the third one is high temperature tempering. So we have discussed all the three temperings. That is, low temperature tempering is about 150 degrees centigrade to 250 degrees centigrade, in the range of 150 to 250 degrees centigrade. And in the medium temperature tempering, it is 350 degrees centigrade to 450 degrees centigrade. And in high temperature tempering, it is 500 to 650 degrees centigrade. And the purpose of tempering also we discussed, and what happens in the three different types of tempering temperatures we discussed, how the phases changes from austenite to martensite and from martensite to perlite or sorbite or trustite or bainite. And now in this video session we will be discussing about OS tempering. In OS tempering, the steel is heated to the hardening temperature and then quenched down to a temperature of 300 degrees centigrade. It is held there for sufficient time to decompose austenite into bainite. Then it is cooled at any rate to room temperature. The hardness and strength of the OS tempered steels are nearly same as conventional hardened tempered steels, but ductility and impact strength are usually higher. This method is applied for small size components made of high carbon steels or low alloy steels. So that means we already discussed hardening. What is hardening? We will see. Yeah. This is the hardening temperature zone shown in the figure. So the pink colored area shows the hardening temperature zones for both hypoeutectoid steel, eutectoid steel, and hypereutectoid steel. So in hardening process we already discussed, we heat the steel to this into this range and suddenly quenched into water, maintaining its some temperature or room temperature. And or it is quenched into some oil bath, maintained at some temperature, or it is quenched into some salt baths. In this process, when the steel is heated above its upper critical temperature and quenched into water to cool it, an extremely hard needle shaped structure known as martensite is formed. This we discussed. So, because of this hardening process, the core part of the steel takes time, that is, the core part of the steel which is in austenite phase takes a very long time to transform into martensite. The reason behind this is the outer portion of the steel which is in contact with the water, and for example if we are quenching it in water, then the outer portion of the steel the outer portion of the steel which is in contact with water gets cooled first, and the layer behind the outer portion of the steel gets cool after the surface layer gets cool because of the quenching action of the surface layer. So the surface layer gets cooled first, and the adjacent layer beneath the surface layer gets cool after the outer surface area gets cool. Then after the layer behind the outer surface layer cooled, then the next layer gets cooled. So just these layers are getting cooled only because of their outer surface layers gets cooled. So by the portion we reaches the core area, the chilling effect gets reduced. Because of that, the core portion of the steel takes time for the transformation to take place. That is, the steel which is in austenitic phase transforms into the required phases, pearlitic phase or pearlitic plus ferrite phase, or cementite plus perlite. But the core region remains to be austenite, called as retained austenite. And also, if it is quenched, what we get is martensite. And this martensite is very hard and very brittle with an RC value of 60 or 65, and high brittleness is not very safe in the engineering application service condition. So therefore we need to reduce the brittleness of the metal. So in order to reduce the brittleness, we do tempering. All these things we discussed. So tempering is mainly done to reduce the brittleness and to improve the ductility, and to improve strength. So therefore the martensitic structures during the temperature may convert into bainite. If we do tempering in the range of 300 to 350 degrees centigrade after quenching the hardened steel, whatever the martensitic structure we get because of quenching process, the entire martensitic structure changes to fine bainite. So bainite is also a fine structure of perlite, and this bainite structure also have almost the same hardness equivalent to, if the martensitic hardness is 60 to 65, then the bainite hardness is around 50 to 55 RC. So therefore almost same hardness but having more ductility than the martensite. So tempering to get bainitic structure is called as os tempering. So we can also get bainite structure with the other technique, that is directly heating the steel to the hardening temperature or austenitic zone or austenitic phase, and then directly quenching the steel to 350 degrees centigrade into 350 degrees centigrade, and holding the steel at the temperature for sufficiently long time until the austenite transforms into bainite. So, this procedure we already discussed, in TTT curves construction. There, by escaping the nose, we cool this steel directly to the temperature 300 or 350 degrees centigrade, where we get a bionitic structure. So it is one time process. This is very easy, but quenching it to 0 degrees temperature and again heating is practically easy to get binite. Instead of maintaining something, some liquid at 300 degrees centigrade or 350 degrees centigrade is a bit heavy task, and also maintaining the temperature is only possible with components which are small. But whereas by doing os tempering, getting bionitic structure is very easy. Quenching the steel of any size into water is very easy, and then again heating it to a temperature zone of 300 to 350 degrees is also very easy. So this process can be adapted to any size of steel. Therefore, os tempering is a very easy process than maintaining the bath, some bath, especially oil, at the temperature, and heating the steel to the austenitic phase and then directly quenching into the oil bath can be only done for small components. Components with huge size or very high, huge size, quenching into oil bath is practically difficult. Therefore, it is easy for a metal or steel to directly quench into water of any size and then heating it to a temperature of 300 to 350 degrees centigrade for the martensite to transform into bainite. So, the process of converting martensite into bainite is called as os tempering. So, in os tempering, the steel is heated to the hardening temperature range and then quenched down to a temperature of 300 degrees centigrade. It is held there for sufficient time to decompose austenite into bainite, then it is cooled at any rate to room temperature. The hardness and strength of the austempered steels are nearly same as conventional hardened tempered steels, but ductility and impact strength are usually higher. But in os tempering, we cool it very slowly for a, it's like the steel is heated to the hardening zone and then it is quenched to a temperature of 300 degrees centigrade rather than quenching it to the water and heating it in the range of 300 to 350 degrees centigrade. It is directly quenched to a temperature of 300 degrees centigrade and it is allowed to transform the austenite into bainite and then it is slowly cooled or air cooled to whatever temperature, and that is room temperature. By doing this, whatever the hardness we get, see, hardness is indirectly related with, directly it is related with, in this case, with the microstructure. Bayonet microstructure will have a specific hardness, and martensite will have a specific hardness, and perlite will have a specific hardness. So our only task is to get the microstructure for the required hardness. So depending upon the hardness requirement, we'll try to cool the metal to get the required microstructure. So therefore, in Aus tempering, the steel is heated to the hardening temperature and then quenched down to a temperature of 300 degrees centigrade and then cooled it in air to room temperature. So by doing this process, by using this technique, we can avoid the secondary heating of the component. In Aus tempering, what happens is, in tempering, we'll directly quench it into water and then again we reheat it to a temperature in the temperature zone of 300 to 350 degrees centigrade, and then we convert the martensite or transform the martensite into bayonet. That means it is heating two times. Whereas in Aus tempering, it is directly quenched. The steel is heated to the hardening temperature and then directly quenched to a temperature of 300 degrees centigrade, and it is held at the temperature until the entire austenite transforms into bayonet, and then it is air cooled. So by doing this, we are not heating the steel two times, but maintaining the oil bath at 300 degrees centigrade is again a tough task. But in Aus tempering, we directly go to bayonet so that we will make sure that the entire retained austenite gets transformed into bayonetic structure. So this is the main advantage of Aus tempering. So the hardness and strength of the Aus tempered steels are nearly same as conventional hardened tempered steels, but ductility and impact strength are usually higher than the quenched steel, because quenched is martensitic phase or martensite structure, whereas Aus tempering in the to 300 degrees centigrade, the structure is bayonetic structure. So therefore, this method is applied for small components made of high carbon steels or low alloy steel. So this is Aus tempering. Then what is the next topic is Mar tempering. So what is Mar tempering? Mar tempering is the hardening process with minimum distortion and residual stresses. This process consists of heating the steel to the hardening temperature and then cooled suddenly down to a temperature just above MS point, that is where the transformation of martensite begins. which is nearly around 2 240 degrees centigrade or 250 degrees centigrade. In the previous Ostempering, in Ostempering, what is the structure, microstructure? What we get is bionetic microstructure we get. We need to remember this. What is the structure that we get in Ostempering is bionetic structure. Why? In Ostempering, we quenched the steel into the oil bath, which is maintained at a temperature around 300 to 350 degrees centigrade. So therefore the structure what we get is bionetic structure. If we directly quench it into water, which is maintained at some temperature, room temperature or below 10 degrees centigrade, whatever, the structure what we get is martensite. And because of this martensite, there is so much of retained austenite is remained, and because of this sudden cooling, a thermal stresses called residual stresses, and because of residual stresses, dimensional distortions may also take place. So to avoid this, we do tempering. Again, after cooling it, again we heat it to some 100 degrees or 250 degrees centigrade or 150 degrees centigrade, and we heat it to remove or to eliminate the residual stresses and distortions in the structure, components, dimensions. But to avoid these, internal development of internal stresses or distortions during the quenching process, another technique is used called as Marr tempering. In Marr tempering, instead of directly quenching the steel into the water, even in Ostempering also, instead of cooling the steel or quenched the steel into the water, it is quenched into the bath, which is maintained at a temperature 300 to 350 degrees centigrade. Whereas in Marr tempering, it is quenched into a bath, oil bath, which is maintained at a temperature of 100 to 200 to 250 degrees centigrade, and held it there until the entire austenite transforms into martensite. By doing this, we can reduce the formation of residual stresses and distortions. This is the main concept behind the Marr tempering. So in Marr tempering, the steel is heated to the hardening temperatures and then suddenly cooled. Down to a temperature just below the MS temperature. MS temperature is nothing but it is the temperature at which the formation of martensite starts. So by transforming the entire austenite into martensite at this temperature, a minimum almost all the austenite will get transformed into martensite, and the thermal stresses developed in and the distortions developed in the steel will be all